the, military industrial complex community is like, hey, why are we trying to go to war? This John Bolton guy, all these, Liz Cheney is now this incredible woman that Whoopi Goldberg on The View. Oh my God, Liz, you're so amazing. Her father was like the ultimate military industrial complex. Now the left is kissing her ass. What the hell happened to the left? The one area with Trump that you got to give him credit for, he doesn't want war. And he said it and he did it while he was in.
Patrick Bet-David went on the Young Turks show to absolutely demolish Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian following Donald Trump's 2024 election victory. Patrick Bet-David went on the Young Turks to talk to Ana and Cenk about why Donald Trump actually won the election and why Kamala Harris and the left actually lost the election. As you can see from all the videos that I've been doing and other people have been doing, the left are absolutely losing their shit over Donald Trump losing or winning this election and Kamala Harris losing, and they have the complete wrong reason and the complete wrong reaction to why Donald Trump won and the Democrats lost this election. Let's get into this clip here of Patrick Bet-David schooling Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur on why actually Donald Trump won this election. Not because people are racist, not because immigrants are sexist and all the stuff that these left-wingers are making up about these people, these minority groups. It's crazy how they lost the election. They're still just doubling and tripling down on the identity politics game. And that's what they're doing. And that's what Patrick Bet-David is absolutely destroying Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur on. Let's get into this clip here.
Things that happened with him in this 2024 election, and specifically the last 5 months. I can't even say last year. I can't even say 8 months ago. It's specifically the last 5 months. He looked like he started having fun. And when he's having fun, he's talking, he's doing his trolling, he's, getting under people's skin, he's doing his thing, he's being Trump. He wins. That wasn't the case in 2024. I can give you a lot of other things, but the one the X factor for me is he looked like he was having fun in 2024. He didn't look like he was having fun in 2020.
So, Patrick, there's folks on the left who think that people voted for Trump because, in my opinion, the hilarious lingo of some leftists, they centered their whiteness above anything else. So obviously you guys disagree that it's about race, right, or gender. So what would you say your audience would say was the number one reason that they don't like the Democrats, they don't trust the Democrats, and they prefer Trump?
Well, I mean, if you think about, for me, I'll speak for myself. I'm still a registered independent till today. It's been 15 years that I'm a registered independent. You can go online and find out what PBD is registered for. You'll see independent. And I voted Bill Clinton, and I think Bill Clinton was a good president. Just so you know, I thought when people talk about Bill Clinton, I thought he did a good job. I thought him being able to sit there and work with Newt Gingrich, making things work was exciting, was good. But at that time, I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. I'm 46 years old. Today, I got 4 kids. And I got to kind of sit there and think about who's better for my kids. I lived in California 24 years. I ran a business in California for 24 years. I left California because one day some local, tax assessor comes up and he says, "Hey, we heard your business has grown." I said, "Yes." "Well, you need to pay a local tax assessor tax of $69,000. I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Yeah, I need to pay." I said, "For what?" So, "Well, based on our estimation, this is how much you need to pay." Nothing audited, estimation. I go to the 7th floor, which was my accounting firm at the time. I said, "What is this all about?" He says, "Happens 1 out of 20 business owners, but if they come to you, you got to pay for it." I said, "What are you talking about?" $69,000. He says, "Yes." I said, "What counties or cities in LA do I not have to pay a assessor tax?" And I don't remember at that time, I thought he said Victorville, Burbank, Glendale, Santa Monica, a couple of these cities. I said, "I want to move to Glendale." So I moved my headquarters to Glendale because I want to be in a place that I can reinvest that money into the business. Eventually, I left California because I didn't think California was a pro-business state. Hence, today, after COVID, 2 states in America lost $1 trillion of assets under management, New York and California. Bad policies push business owners like me, like Musk, like many others out. Now I go to Texas. I live in Texas for 5 years, Dallas, Texas, fell in love with Texas. But I wanted the best of both worlds. I wanted California and I wanted Texas. California and Texas had a baby. It's Florida. I moved to Florida. Being in Florida, I like DeSantis that he protects my kids. Even in Texas one night, when my first 2 kids are fully vaccinated. The 3rd kid, fewer. The 4th kid, we wanted the options on what to do and what not to do. Do you know in Texas, there is no religious exemption. In Florida, there is. So for me at this phase of my life, when me and my wife are getting smarter, educated, we're making decisions on clear philosophies on how we want to raise our family, probably one of the main things that Trump appealed to family people like me, it sounded sane. Some of the stuff the left was saying made no sense to me. What are we talking about on what some of the messages that were given? I understand the pro-abortion, the pro-life debate, no problem. I actually understand that argument on how it can be made on both sides. I'm a Christian myself. My position is pretty clear where I'm going to be at, but I can fully understand that being a debate to be talking about. So, they went a little bit too much. By the way, Joe Biden was a moderate Democrat. I know a lot of people on the right are going to be upset with me. How could you say he was a moderate Democrat and all? He was a moderate, but he was forced to act like he was a progressive. But Kamala was a progressive, trying to act like she's a moderate, and she wasn't, and people just didn't believe her.
Yeah, I disagree with you a little bit on that last point. I don't think Kamala Harris really has a political identity. I think Kamala Harris will kind of change her political identity depending on what she thinks is beneficial for her in getting elected.
So look,
that's 100% true, by the way, what Ana just said. She is a chameleon. She 100% is a chameleon. You think about the way that she was whenever she was, I think she was Attorney General of California. Whenever she was AG of California, she governed in a way that was much more moderate. She governed in a way that most people who voted for her, all these women who are melting down on social media, they wouldn't have liked it very much. And then she gets in to be vice president, and she's running for president, and she's starting to say things like, I am for transgender surgeries for inmates. Like, what the hell are you talking about? And it's very obvious she's trying to make up for the way that she was before she was vice president. She's trying to play catch up on that stuff. And it's 100% true what Ana Kasparian just said, in that Kamala Harris is just a chameleon, and everybody could see it. Most of these politicians, they can be chameleons, and they're pretty good at hiding it. They're pretty good, they're politicians, right? Kamala Harris is not even a good politician. She's not only low IQ and just stupid, and even the things that she does take stances on, they're just stupid. Like, transgender surgeries for inmates, I get what you're trying to do and make up for your past, but that's just stupid. That's ridiculous. I can't even think of any left-wingers who have defended that. That's really stupid. And as far as what Patrick Bet-David said to Ana Kasparian there, where he's not too hard up on the abortion issue, all these other things, he doesn't really care that much. But what really resonated with him and his family is the fact that Donald Trump and the Republicans are the party of common sense. And that was so genius for Donald Trump to just lean into that, whereas the left wing used to say that, right? Whenever Joe Biden was running for president back in 2020, they would say, I don't want to say Joe Biden would say because the guy brain doesn't even function, but they would say things like, let's get the adults back in the room, right? Now Donald Trump is using that. And the difference is they had to use propaganda to trick people into thinking that we needed adults back in the room. Donald Trump just sat back and let the 4 years play out. Didn't really say much, didn't really make any public appearances until the last year or so. He didn't even announce that he was running for president again until maybe a year and a half ago. And until that point, he just sat back and let the things play out, let the world see how ridiculous it is to have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in office. Not just in the United States, not just with immigration, the crime rates going up, inflation, interest rates going through the roof to where normal people can't even afford houses anymore. Not just that, but also what's going on around the globe. Everybody mobilized whenever Joe Biden got in office. And what I mean by that is Russia invaded Ukraine. The whole Israel, Middle East stuff happened. And then not only that, but the China and Taiwan stuff has heated up and simmered down over and over again, much more than it ever happened under Donald Trump. So all of these things, Donald Trump hasn't even had to say anything. All he had to do was get in office and say, hey guys, I'm going to not do what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did. And isn't that funny how the tables turn like that? Obviously, Donald Trump has come out and said a lot more things that he's actually going to do to improve the country and how he's going to fix these things, not just saying, hey guys, I'm not Kamala Harris, just like Kamala Harris does with Donald Trump and Joe Biden. But him leaning into, we are the party of common sense, is genius. That's all you have to do. Whenever one side is literal lunatics and so bad that even Ana Kasparian and Cenk are criticizing how ridiculous you sound, all you have to do if you are Donald Trump and the right wing is just simply be the party of common sense, and you win. You win over people like Joe Rogan, Russell Brand, Elon Musk, these people who are typically, traditionally Democrats. You win over those people just by being the party of common sense. Let's see what else Patrick Bet David has to say here.
I'm a populist, so I can't stand the donor class and the establishment, et cetera. I think the Democratic Party lost not because they used corporate robot A versus corporate robot B. I think that they all would have lost. I think DeSantis probably would have lost. I think that Trump has a gigantic advantage because he appears to be authentic. He appears to be populist. I've been on your show. You know that I don't think he actually is populist. So that brings us to the question, which is, look, there is a real rift in the Republican Party for the first time in my life. In the old days, it was always, no, Mitch McConnell and Dick Cheney and George Bush are wonderful people, and they're, God, it just, the donors need everything, and thank God Mitch McConnell got it to them, right? And now I know a lot of people hate Mitch McConnell and they don't like the donor class. They become more populist. But I'm worried about their authenticity. I'm worried that if Trump starts to do all the things that are not at all populist, but the old Republican way of give everything to the corporations, give everything to the donors.
The difference between, and what Cenk means by populist, he has a bit of a different definition than what other people have. The political terms just kind of get really muddy when it comes to, like, you know, the fascist stuff, the populist stuff. What Cenk means by populist, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but he means just not beholden to donors and lobbyists. So you don't just follow donors and lobbyist orders because you want money. And he's saying that the first time around back in 2016, and I somewhat agree, back in 2016, it seemed like Donald Trump was a whole lot more anti-establishment. And what Cenk is saying is, my fear is Donald Trump runs on being a populist, being anti-establishment. And yet he's collecting this donor money just like everybody else. The difference between Donald Trump and everyone else is, number one, the Republican Party is becoming very anti-establishment. If you think of the people who are joining forces with it, people like Vivek Ramaswamy, like even J.D. Vance, like RFK, like Elon Musk, like all these people, they are becoming very anti-establishment. Number two, if Donald Trump didn't receive a penny from donors, he would be fine. The man has like, what, $7-8 billion to his net worth? I mean, he would be completely fine. He would, and he showed that back in 2016. He'd be fine without any lobbyists, without any donors being on his side. So that's the difference. And I'm sure PBD is about to say the same thing here.
That you guys aren't really going to object, and that your audience would be mad at you if you objected. And so I'm worried that there will not be any kind of populist, not only an uprising on the right, but even an objection on the right, if Trump begins to betray his promises, does more war in the Middle East, et cetera.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And by the way, you have to also realize, even on the right, after what happened with Hamas and Israel, the conservative had different factions that you would look at on the positions that they had.
Yep.
And the military industrial complex community is like, hey, why are we trying to go to war? This John Bolton guy, all these, Liz Cheney is now this incredible woman that Whoopi Goldberg on The View. Oh my God, Liz, you're so amazing. Her father was like the ultimate military industrial complex. Now the left is kissing her ass. What the hell happened to the left? The one area with Trump that you got to give him credit for, he doesn't want war. And he said it and he did it while he was in. And I don't know if you guys saw what Dmitry Medvedev said a couple days ago when he came out and he said, if Trump even thinks about trying to prevent or get in the way of our war with us and Ukraine, there will be a JFK type style assassination. I'm sure you saw that. And then he came out and he says Kamala Harris is dumb, is stupid, is uneducated and controllable. I think these are some of the words that he used against them. So of course, the position that he had for the first 4 years, doesn't want war. Is he going to go out and all of a sudden be pro-war? If he does that, Cenk, the base that supported him is going to be very, very loud and against it.
Yeah, I agree. I do think there's a lot of Donald Trump cultists out there who, no matter what Donald Trump does, they will probably support him. But you think of the people who Donald Trump has gained the support of by getting endorsed by Elon Musk, by saying that RFK Jr. is going to have a part in his cabinet, in his campaign. If he were to backstab those people by saying, actually, RFK, you're not going to have a very big role at all. I just wanted to get votes using your name. If he were to backstab the voters that he gained by all these people, Joe Rogan endorsing him from being anti-war, pro-health, all these things, fixing the economy, fixing the immigration. If you were to not follow through on any of those things, I think there would be a huge uprising because a lot of people who voted for Donald Trump, obviously he won the popular vote, are not Donald Trump cultists. So there would be a big group of people who say, no matter what Donald Trump does, he can't do anything wrong. Of course there are, right? Of course there are. But there's a larger group of people that if Donald Trump doesn't uphold the promises that they voted for him for, they're going to be very pissed off. And I don't think Donald Trump is going to do that because what his family has come out and said, and he hasn't said this himself, but what his family has come out and said is that he can't obviously get reelected again, right? So he's not having to govern. He's not having to be the president the way that you would be if you were trying to get reelected again. He's actually, you know, and obviously we have the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, everything like that is on our side. We can actually get things done. What Donald Trump is worried about now is legacy. And I don't think it would serve his legacy very well if he went back on a lot of the promises that he made that actually got him elected. Let me know in the comments, though, what you guys think about Patrick Bet-David's appearance here on the Young Turks, where he schools Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur on why Donald Trump won, but more importantly, why the woke left continues to lose. Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole PBD versus the Young Turks situation.